But if you think about the first 8 weeks, how are you doing at helping people feel safe and slowly learn how to swim? Slowly learn how to be in the internal focused dialogue, being willing to be seen. Hi everybody, it's Steve Halley here with the Family Peace Initiative, and welcome to the Facilitator's Tool Chest vlog for March 2025. If you like the little videos that I put out, trying to create some type of thought-provoking ideas for people to just pursue a higher level of expertise, you might subscribe because there's a lot of information out here. We've been doing this for about 8 years now, and I think you'll find it helpful in your effort to become better at what you do and better at your craft. Today I want to talk with you about just getting people started in the program. Many times they've been through the assessment and they've been recommended for the program, and they can come and they're not particularly pleased, they're not particularly happy about it, and so they come in a real protective mode. People are afraid. All right, whenever we're in this protective mode, we're guarding something, we're afraid of something, and we're trying to take care of ourselves. That's kind of the nature of polyvagal theory, which I will talk about more in future blog posts. But when people come afraid, what happens is that it's really hard for them to concentrate and learn about the material that we're trying to teach because they're just too busy protecting themselves, trying to fit in, trying to not be vulnerable, not be exposed. And so the first thing that we try to do is to create safety. Now, this is important because I think it takes 4, 6, 8 weeks to help people to really sense a safety inside of the group room. And that's relevant because what the research has shown is that if people can make it 8 weeks into the program, then the chances of them completing the program goes up significantly. If we're going to lose people in our program, it will probably be in the first 8 weeks. And so that becomes imperative that we're focused on how do we help people to be engaged so that they can get to that level of safety and sense that they're a part and they belong to this group, and that they would stay and complete the program, because as people complete the program, their recidivism rates, their reoffense rates, their behavior improves significantly in their relationships if we can get them through completion. So the first step is just creating safety for these guys, creating safety for our group participants. And one of the ways that we do that is trying to help people relax. We don't ask people to come and tell us, all the things that they've done and expect them to be accountable right away. I have to tell you that we used to do that. We used to invite people at the orientation to try to explain to us, what they did and do a process log or a control log on their abusive behavior. And we would get into all these power struggles with people that just was not helping anybody. And so through the years, we found a way to work on engagement and avoid these power struggles that are really damaging to the relationship and damaging to building safety, especially early on. So in the first few weeks, we're just telling people, hey, come on in, just relax. You don't need to say anything. You don't need to participate. If you want to say something, you're totally welcome to do that. But we don't want you to feel any obligation to say anything or participate in anything that you're not comfortable with. Because we believe that if you get a sense of what we're doing in our class, that you will just figure out that this is a safe place for you to be, and you'll just naturally take part in the program, right? But when you get started, just relax. We're not going to put you on the spot. We just want you to see what's going on. Now, I've said this for years, and I can only remember one person who by the end of the first class opted to not say anything. Because once people are kind of told that they don't have to say anything, they kind of feel free or they want to participate, whatever it is. But people just naturally join in, especially if we create that space. And so as they join in and as they are seen and as they're beginning to talk about and listen to other people's stories, so that they hear that they're not the odd duck, right? That they're not strange, they're not standing out like a sore thumb, that there's other people that are struggling with the same things that they're struggling with, people calm down. Because, a natural fear is that, oh, I'm the only one, I'm alone, people won't understand my situation. When people graduate our program, the number one thing they say that made a difference for them is, oh, they heard the stories from other participants. That listening to others and hearing other people's challenges, struggles, dilemmas, all is very helpful in helping us to feel like we're not alone. So safety is the first thing that we're pursuing. But the second piece of that is to slowly be able to turn people from an external focused conversation to an internal focused dialogue. And that is a process. That is not an event, oh, you need to talk about yourself, you need to use iMessages, you need to do these things. It is a process of slowly helping people learn to talk about themselves on a deeper level, including their feelings, including being able to express, this is what I'm feeling, this is what it was like for me, this was the message that I thought that it was saying about me inside of the relationship. When people get to talking about themselves in a real clean, deeper way, then that's the internal focused dialogue. And it's much like swimming. You learn to swim by slowly dipping your feet in the pool. You learn to swim by wading in and maybe, being bounced around by somebody who can manage themselves in the water. And slowly we learn to swim. And that's what we're really teaching people, is to slowly learn how to wade into that internal focused dialogue so that we can become accountable and responsible for our own behavior and the impact that our behavior had on others. One of the ways to be able to walk into the internal focused dialogue is through the approach of using mad, sad, glad, and afraid. When we're able to help people identify what they're feeling and talk about what that's mostly about, it is a natural way to help people get into an internal focused dialogue. And one of the places that's really, really fun to be able to work towards is helping participants to be able to own that they feel afraid. We all get afraid. Our body is wired to be afraid, so we alert us that something bad might happen. And when we can help people to identify that and put their finger on, oh, I'm afraid that my partner might leave me. I'm afraid that the group members might think that I'm crazy. I'm afraid that something bad might happen to me, that people might know that I'm abusive and cruel in my relationships behind closed doors. When people talk about that fear, they have entered the internal focused dialogue, and that helps them to discover whether they're safe. We're wading deeper into the pool by helping people identify the fear. And then as we get past that, then we can start looking at what are we afraid of, and what do we do to protect ourselves, and what are we doing to dominate and control our partners in order so that we don't have to feel weak, helpless, be abandoned, be alone, all the things that people come into our room naturally afraid of. And so it's a stair-step process. And in the first 8 weeks or so, our goal is to get people to week 9. And so we're helping them feel safe. We're helping them explore a little bit of the internal focused dialogue through mad, sad, glad, and afraid. And then we're helping them to walk a little bit more into their story and become less afraid of acknowledging the difficult behaviors and the harmful behaviors that they've inflicted on others. If we can get people, if you can get people to week 8 and beyond, right, the chances of them really digging deep and going into their story and learning to be accountable and talking about what happened to them long before they were ever cruel to anybody who was cruel to them, then the chances continually go up that people will be able to move away from cruel behaviors and become more responsible, more connected, and have more respectful, healthy relationships. We'll talk more about what are we trying to do beyond that. But if you think about the first 8 weeks, how are you doing at helping people feel safe and slowly learn how to swim? Slowly learn how to be in the internal focused dialogue, being willing to be seen. And you'll see more people will be able to move beyond week 8, and more people will begin to complete your program, which is really one of the fundamental missions of what we're trying to accomplish. Hey, it's good to see you all. Happy March. And I will look forward to putting out another one of these in April. And my best to you. Thanks so much for everything that you do.